Hello, hello everyone. How are you guys doing? Ready to cook some food today for lunch? So I am going to share with you guys really quick, and I'm trying to do it again from my computer, so bear with me for a second. Here we go. Okay, so you can see my cooking stove and everything else. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and I have this heating up, and I'm going to cut my chicken now. So what I want you to see, first of all, is that when you get chicken breasts normally from the store, and this is like the first thing that I need everyone to know, is these things are so big that that is most people's problems. Whether or not you're trying to lose weight or you are going to count your food. This chicken breast here alone is 11.8 ounces of meat, okay? So this is a problem, you guys. This is a problem. You have to make sure that you are measuring your portion sizes, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I have to cut, and I hope, let me try to see if I can change my light a little bit, because I feel like it's really dark and you may not be able to see what I want you to see. So 1 second. I hope this is maybe a little bit better and you can see maybe a little bit more. Okay, so what I want you to know is, and this is where you also can save money, guys, okay? So you take this chicken breast and you cut out the top part, you know, like this fringy, fritty things. So you cut that down and just cut it in half, basically, right? Okay, so you take that to the side, and then you make it a really nice little piece like that. Okay, so let's see how much this is. Now, okay, we are getting a little bit closer. Now we are at a 4.7, okay? I could have probably cut a little bit less, but a 4.7, like a 5-ounce piece of meat, is more like it, okay? So it's really important. It's still a pretty big chunk of meat, so you don't have to feel like you are losing out. And the rest of it here is 5.2, so I'm gonna just take the top part off. And now I have, okay, 3.2. So that'll be good enough for the kids, okay? So I have one big breast, and then I have some extra. So now here's how I usually do it. I usually take these extra pieces and make them into little pieces and put them on the side, because I can use them for a different meal, okay? So this meal I want to do chicken breasts. So now this one, the second one, same thing again, super big. Let's talk. This is 12 ounces, you guys, okay? 12 ounces, way too much. So you need to cut the top out and make it that it's working. So this is 7.5. It's still too much. Okay, I'm gonna take that off. Now we have 5.3. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna give my husband, the 5.3 piece of meat, and then the other one is me. Okay, so meanwhile, the rest of it, again, I'm going to chunk. And here's a little tip for anyone who has to watch their intakes, right? Who wants to lose weight or who has diabetes. Now, before I freeze it, I measure it already, okay? So I'm gonna measure 5 ounces, okay? And I'm gonna put that into a small bag, small freezer bag. Because if I get into the habit of making the meat into 5-ounce portions, then it is easier to defrost and take out a portion size. Okay? okay, for one person. So let's say I need to make lunch for my husband. I'm gonna take a little bit of pieces out, and now I can fry this up for him. This is 5.5 ounces. Okay, I can fry this up for him, and I can say, listen, this is your ounces for your lunch, and we can throw that in a salad. This is a one portion kind of chicken breast then. Okay, so here I have 2 lunches. I mean, look at the amount. Look at it. Look at the amount, guys. Okay, we have 2 chicken breasts. We have 3 chicken breasts out of it. So for my kids, they don't eat a full one. So I have basically out of 2 chicken breasts now, I have 2 lunches and 1 entire dinner today. That is crazy. So if you are looking at your maximizing your grocery budget, there you go, right? Healthy lifestyles, losing weight, and grocery budget. So that's a huge deal. Okay, so we have that. I'm gonna put that on the side because now, moving on, I use from Aldi, I get this. Can you see it? It's like the avocado. My lighting is really bad today. I apologize. Okay, so it's an avocado oil spray. There is nothing in there. High heat, 500 smoke point. So this is really good for making anything. And when you look at the label, there's zeros of everything. Okay, moving on. We're gonna spice our chicken really quick. Okay, and I am using a chicken spice called Kick Up Chicken. You can use any kind you like. That does not contain any added anything. I would suggest. Okay, so now we're gonna make our chicken breast right here. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. On to the vegetables. Now you make sure you change your knife and you make sure you change your cutting board to not have cross-contamination of any sort. Now we are on to the vegetables then. Okay? Now I'm going to use collard greens, and these need to already be done because they are like, I bought them thinking I'm going to make some sandwiches, but I ended up not being able to do it, so now I'm going to have to use them somehow in the food. So I'm going to cut out the pieces that are not really good anymore and throw those away. Okay, and I'm going to get my pot, my big pot I can use, and I'm going to put that over here. All right. Alright, get some more light here. It's very good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut that big stem. See, you know, in those collard greens, there's a big stem in there. You want to cut that out real quick. And then you just kind of cut it into little small stuff. And for now, I'm just going to put it in here as I'm cutting the vegetables. So cut out that big stem in the middle. And get rid of that. And cut, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to cook that down anyway. We're just going to throw that in there. Okay, so as you're hopping on, I would love to have some comments. Where are you hopping on from? Where are you watching from? Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to get back and help you and answer it, because I know from the journey now that in my recent journey that when you start eating healthier, it can really be overwhelming. And I hear more and more and more from people that they are saying, we don't cook, we don't cook. However, not cooking usually comes from a belief that something takes a long time, and it really is not the case, okay? Okay, so tip now here with the chicken breast, you see, if it can be flipped over right away without leaving anything, that's when it's right on that side, okay? When it still sticks to the pan, it's not ready yet, so you gotta let it cook. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna take out the stems again. And I'm just gonna cut the collard. This is collard green I'm gonna use right now for it, which is really, really healthy vegetables. And this is often we don't eat enough of it because sometimes it's when you don't really know it, what to do with it and how to prepare and how to cook it, you just usually don't do it, right? Unless you have to, or you are crazy like me and you want to. I find joy in trying out new things. I find it interesting. Sparks my creativity. Cooking sparks my creativity. I usually don't have recipes. I try things out and see what they do to me. And then if I like it, I like it. And if not, it's okay. I tried it and I just do something else. You know, I don't overthink the stuff. I just do. Okay, so we're going to throw all that in, and that really doesn't look so good anymore, so I'll throw that out. Okay. Almost done. And you guys, if you are interested, I have an email list. It's in my link, so hop on over to my link and subscribe to that email list. I will then send you the first cooking video, and then you will be subscribed to an email series, to our email list, that will also get you all these cooking videos, and you're going to be able to get some of that information delivered. Okay, so now I'm going to put some onion in there. And this is really the main work in the beginning, is like you actually cutting the pieces and the stuff. So if you are a planner, you can pre-cut. But I have found that honestly, even if you do it really quickly, it's not taking that long time. Okay, so what I also want to do, I want to put also some zucchini in there and some broccoli. So I'm gonna just cut everything up. So the zucchini, we're gonna cut into cubes. Now, here's the thing. If you are a person who does not like vegetables a lot, I want to tell you a little bit about your gut microbiome, okay? Because I really feel that people don't know enough about it. The gut microbiome has a whole lot of bacteria in it, and the bacteria is responsible for your cravings. Okay, so there's these things like, it's called candida yeast that every gut has. Everybody has candida yeast. It's just some people have more depending on how their lifestyle is and how their sugar is. If you don't do anything to get that candida yeast under control, then what happens is your yeast, the yeast in the gut is continuing to feed on the on that sugar that you are craving and consuming. Okay, so now these two pieces are basically already done. Just saying, real quick. Let me get a plate. So you don't have to overcook your chicken. Okay, so this small piece is already done for sure, and let me just kind of make sure. Yes, and when you can see, like, the light is very bright, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave that on for just a minute longer. The bigger piece needs just a bit more, but the small piece is already done, okay? You don't want to overcook your chicken, because if you do, then it gets kind of, yucky. Okay, so where was I? Okay, the yeast in the body, okay? So the yeast in the body needs to be taken care of. And when you do, your cravings your cravings will change. You will start craving healthier foods, and therefore the lifestyle change will become easier if you take care of your microbiome. It's very hard to master willpower with the gut infected with candida yeast. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna move this one over now and let that cook a little bit more here, because I feel like this is done. Okay, and I'm gonna leave this big piece on there for just a little bit longer. Okay, so on to the vegetables. Okay, let me reposition my setup here. Oops. No, I don't want to cancel. Okay, there we go. All right, can you all see? Can you all see the vegetables? Okay, so I'm going to start cooking those now. And the same thing, now you saw me putting all the greens in, right? I'm going to spray a little bit of that cooking spray in there. To get it started. And first, I want to make it on very high heat so we can get it seared a little bit. Oopsie. Alright, and we're gonna already season it. So I love my garlic salt, so I'm just gonna put some garlic salt on there. I'm gonna use some paprika, right, paprika, because we like vegetables a little bit spicy, not spicy really, but you know what I mean. Okay, and then I'm going to use some pepper. Wait all the time. Okay, so you just kind of mix it all up. And what I'm going to use too to put a little bit fat in there is I'm going to put a little bit of that ghee, you guys. Have you used that? It's a little bit of that. Okay, so it's about a teaspoon. And give a little bit of that flavor. Go with that. Okay, and now, you guys, I had made some tomatoes, okay, because when you pressure cook tomatoes, they're gonna lose the lectins. So if you don't want to eat the lectins because they can tear holes into your body. So if you pressure cook tomatoes, they will lose their lectins. So you can go ahead and just, use some tomato. This is literally just tomato out of my garden that I just throw in there now because I need to get rid of it. You don't have to do that. But you want to try to find the phytonutrients and eat a little bit of color. So I have now red, I have a little bit purple from the onion, I have a lot of greens. Okay, and I have all of it in there now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because you want to steam, let me see that you see. No half. Okay, so you want to steam the broccoli just a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of water right now. And I'm going to cover this up for just a second. Okay, and if you can see, this looks already pretty awesome. I just can't, the broccoli is not really soft yet. So the broccoli needs to soften up. So that's why I put the liquid in there. And I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to cover this up and let that cook for a second longer. Okay, and that chicken, by the way, is yummy and done as well. Okay, so I can turn that off and talk to you guys for a minute. Okay, so as you are hopping on, my lighting is kind of off. If you're hopping on, if you're catching the replay, catch the replay. Now, depending on what your carb content is, if you need to have 45 carbs per meal, like that's what my husband has to do, 45 carbs per meal or less, right? The vegetables have a little bit of carbs, so put it into your trackers and see how many carbs that is, but it's minimal. If you want to have more carbs, so today I'm going to ask him, I made some of those mini potatoes, and I'm going to ask him, but again, portion sizes, watch portion sizes, because these 4 of these little mini potatoes are already a serving size, okay? So we are not, unless you're paying attention to it, we are not used to eating the small portions that we should be eating. So if you want to lose weight, watch those portion sizes, really educate yourself, watch it, keep going. And, if you're type 2 diabetic, obviously that's very important. You start needing to measure and you need to know what this stuff is at. So again, I'm going to pop into the comments here. I'm going to pop that link for the cooking recipes. As you see, we are done cooking. We're just basically done. 2 more minutes to get that broccoli softened, and that's done, right? And we can eat. So it's like 23 minutes, and that is with all my explanations and showing. So technically maybe 15 minutes and your lunch and dinner is ready and you're ready to go and eat. Okay, so I hope that helped. Get on that email list so you can get all the rest of my YouTube videos delivered to your inbox. And I hope that you are having a great day. Happy Thursday.